Welcome to CITAM ChurchOnline. My name is Karita Mbagara. I'm the senior pastor at CITAM Karen. I would want us to look to the book of Daniel chapter 6 verse 10, from where we will learn a few things. The Bible says, "Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before." The background to this is that Daniel was about to be appointed to be on top of all the other leaders that were in Babylon. But they conspired against him, and they went to the king and said that the king, who happened to be Darius at that time, should be the one worshipped for a whole month and nobody else should be worshipped. But Daniel, having learned the decree had been made, had been written, signed, it could not be changed, did not change his way of continuing in prayer before God. And the first lesson that we learn is this, that consistency in prayer beats all crisis. Because of Daniel's prayer, we find that there was great impact and far-reaching results, to the extent that he himself would be saved later from the den of lions, and the people that were against him were the ones thrown into the den of lions and they were eaten by the lions. The other thing that I notice is that Daniel was not doing this as a protest. It was not even being done, reactionary. It was something he always did. The verse that we have read tells us that 3 times in a day he would pray just as he had always prayed. He was a man of courage that was not going to allow fear of man to keep him away from doing what he knew to be true. Question number 1 that I ask myself, what would make a person continue in prayer like this? It is because he knows his God. He has walked with God closely. He knows that all things are controlled by God and God is the ultimate. And because of that, he would not be cowed. Secondly, he loved God, not because of what God was going to provide, but because he had a love for God that came out of his relationship with him. And for that, he continued praying. And I would want us to learn from Daniel and become consistent in our prayer life. Why is it that we fail to pray? Why is our place of prayer empty? There are many reasons that we could give. One of them is that sin makes us feel guilty and we are ashamed and we feel that we have no confidence to approach God. But we also know that when we sin, God will not answer our prayers. In the book of Isaiah 59 verse 2, the Bible tells us that your iniquities are separated you from me, and God will not hear the prayers of a sinner. The second thing that would keep us is because we have failed to plan to be meeting with God. We have no schedule. Because of the busyness, not business, but busyness, we have not prioritized prayer. But also thirdly, it is because perhaps we have prayed in the past and not seen much. But you see, Daniel had been praying here before. Nothing much is reported out of those prayers other than we know that God had been with him and given him favor. But we find that when crisis comes, out of the prayers he has been praying, God saves him. It is like the chicken that sits on eggs for 21 days. For 20 days, nothing happens. On the 21st day, things change. The chicks come out. And I want to say that's why it's important for us to be at the place of prayer. But also I do note from this passage that when Daniel went to pray, the content of his prayer is, one of them is thanksgiving. In fact, it's the only thing that is mentioned, that he gave thanks to God. Whether he prayed about what Darius had signed or the satraps, it is not recorded. So the primary thing was that he was thanking God because he knew God had his back. I want to say, when you build your relationship with God, you will have the confidence to face every crisis that the devil throws at you. So, I want to encourage you, keep on praying. If you have not been praying, please schedule it and make it an important aspect of your life. God bless you and have a great time in the place of prayer.